welcome back to my channel. As y'all know, I had a baby girl. She's right next to me, sleeping in her bassinet, and he's shaking because he sees that I'm ready to go somewhere and he knows I'm going to Grandma and Grandpa's house. So he's shaking and nervous because he knows something's up. But today is January 13th and I am starting to feel better from the hospital. There's lots to update you on why I haven't vlogged, why I haven't posted anything, just why I've been MIA. Well, here is the story. Hopefully I don't cry because it's emotional for me to even talk about. As you all know, I got induced on December 30th and had her December 31st at 10:12 p.m., 2 hours before midnight. And the delivery went amazing. Like, it was amazing delivery. I think I pushed for an hour, which is good for my first time being a mom. After I had her, the doctor said to one of the nurses that I believe it was my uterus is tipped, or my cervix is tipped. Something was tipped, either uterus, cervix, something like that. It was tipped and it was like in a weird position, and he said to the nurse very clearly that everyone heard to clean me out every 20 minutes. Then the OB doctor left. Well, I was so happy that I had her. I finally got to have my mom's sugar cookies. I ate a sugar cookie. We were all having fun before the new year. And then out of nowhere, like, something was going wrong with me, and she started to clean me out, which was not 20 minutes later. She cleaned me out, I don't know how much longer later, when she was supposed to clean me out early, and she didn't. So when the nurse went to go clean out down there, I started hemorrhaging really, really bad. Like, not a normal hemorrhage, like extremely bad. It was fluid and blood everywhere. I could feel it gushing out of me. There was so much blood. They kept pushing it out, getting out of me, weighing it, getting more, weighing it, getting more, weighing it. And as they're doing that, I couldn't feel a thing, thank God, because of the epidural was still in me, but they didn't have it running. So it was wearing off, but I still couldn't feel anything. As they're getting all the blood and the blood clots and the fluid, I had the shakes because how much blood was coming out of me. All the color in my skin went away. Like, I'm already white. Imagine it being gone and how white I was. And I was shaking. I couldn't keep my eyes open. My mom was scared for me. Josh was scared. No one was taking care of Riley besides my mom and Josh, because the nurses, I had like 6 nurses taking care of me and everything, and I saw like the look on my mom's face, and she was saying stuff, and I was like, Mom, I told her, I said, Mom, you're scaring me. But it just makes me want to cry because it was a scary situation with all the blood that I lost, and I closed my eyes because I couldn't keep them open because all the blood that I was losing and all the fluid I was losing. And I closed my eyes and I got scared out of my mind because the nurse goes, Audrey, she shook me. She's like, Audrey, wake up. And I'm like, what? And they're like, we need an oxygen mask. And because I guess like the monitor wasn't, kind of like fell off me, so that's why they were freaking out, but everything was fine, so I didn't need an oxygen mask. But it was like a scary thing with how much blood I lost. Yes, there were, like, my mom was scared of me dying. I was scared of dying. I was scared to death to close my eyes and fall asleep as they're trying to get all the hemorrhaging out and all the blood out. I was scared for my life. I thought if I fell asleep, I will not wake up for the next day, that I will be dead. Well, I will be dead. So I was scared to close my eyes it was just a scary situation. So after my mom was, I was like all over the place, I'm sorry. And then my mom's like freaking out, like, where's the doctor? Why hasn't anyone called the doctor? And so they finally called the doctor in as they're still cleaning me out, and I feel the gush of blood and everything coming. And the doctor came, he put a catheter in and was cleaning me out, and he said to the nurse, once again to keep up with it, and he told my mom that I'm fine. Also, Josh and my mom were like talking to the nurses like, can someone check on baby girl, because no one's checked on her, no one's checked on her vitals. It's been this long, and because they were still taking care of me, but no one's even worried about the baby besides Josh and my mom. So it was very hectic. My mom finally left at like 2 something in the morning. They still came in the room every 20 minutes to clean me out, and I could still feel the gush of blood and fluid come out. But I had to call the nurse in. I couldn't fall asleep. I had to watch the clock because the nurse did not come in like she was supposed to. She was supposed to come in every 20 minutes, and she wouldn't. So every 20 minutes I would be calling and calling and calling to make them come in to clean me out, because otherwise it'd get backed up and it'd be even worse. Oh, and during the whole situation, I had to have 2 IVs. I had one in this arm and then one up here because I got stuck 7 times for IVs. IVs are not good with my veins. So I got stuck 7 times in multiple places to try and get IVs in me, and they weren't working. To this day, it's been 2 weeks tomorrow, I can't like stretch my right arm, like stretch it out good, because it feels like it's pulling and it hurts. So yeah, I had 2 IVs going with fluids because how much fluid I lost during that whole situation. My whole body was very swollen from all the fluids, especially this arm, because this IV blew big time, and so this arm was really swollen. And then after the epidural wore off, they still had to keep coming in and flushing me out, and they would push on your stomach and be inside of you digging, and it was ridiculous. But from all that pushing they did for hours, my stomach hurt so bad. It hurt like hell when they would push on it, because how much they have pushed on it already. And I couldn't walk. I was not allowed to eat during that whole situation because they were thinking I would have to have an emergency surgery to try and get all that hemorrhaging and blood out. But thank God I didn't, because I really didn't want to have the surgery. So I didn't get to eat for over 12 hours. They were also thinking about doing a blood infusion because they had to keep checking my blood. Blood count, it was like a 5 or a 6. I wasn't nauseous, I wasn't dizzy, I wasn't lightheaded, I didn't have any of those symptoms. But before, I keep getting off topic. After I ate that cookie and started hemorrhaging, I started throwing up. I had throw up all in my hair, I had throw up all over my body, I had blood all over my body. I didn't get to clean myself for a few days, so I was very stinky and smelly from all that. And then after I was in the hospital for 5 days, and I finally got to come home. I was home for 2 days, and it was like about 1 in the morning. Oh, okay. It was about 1 in the morning, and it was time to feed Riley. I'm in extreme pain. I'm screaming and crying, walking down the stairs to get her bottle, and like bawling my eyes out, screaming at like bloody murder. And I walk upstairs with her bottle to feed her, and I didn't want to wake up Josh. That's just how I am. I would have just suffered through the pain and just let him sleep because that's how I am. But he heard me screaming and crying, and he saw me walking to the baby screaming and crying, so he was freaking out thinking something was wrong with her, but it was honestly something wrong with me. So he was scared, and I told him to call my mom, and I told her what was happening. So she came here to watch over her while Josh took me to the emergency room. And come to find out, my pain, it was in my right lower abdomen, and the pain was caused from an infection from them digging in there constantly. So the infection is called endometritis. That is what it's called, and it is extremely painful. I'm on antibiotics for it for 7 days. I still get the pain probably once a day, but I take ibuprofen for it, so it's not that bad. I also had a fever, and when I was in the hospital, I had a fever nonstop. When I walk around or do anything, if I walk from here to the kitchen, I'm completely out of breath. I get lightheaded. I'll start to get hot. So I'm not all the way better. I don't think my blood count is up like it should be. I think it's going to take a while for it to get back up. So I think that's why when I do anything small, I get out of breath and lightheaded. When Josh and I went to Walmart, it was so painful. When I walk too much, I start to get the pain down there, and I was extremely out of breath. I thought I was gonna faint because how lightheaded I was getting. So going to Walmart and shopping was not a good idea for me. I thought it would help me get some exercise, but honestly it just made me worse. I basically just sit in this chair and take care of her, clean what I can. I do it in like small bits and pieces so that way I don't wear myself out and get in that pain again, because when I overdo it, which isn't really overdoing it, I get that really bad pain. So when I say it wasn't a normal hemorrhage and that situation should have never happened, if that nurse would have kept up with it and did what she was told by my doctor, I would have never been in this situation. I would have never hemorrhaged that bad. I would have never probably lost that much blood. I'd probably be doing a lot better now than what I am if she would have done what she was told. My mom was scared to death. She had to leave the room because I told her she was scaring me. So she left the room for a little and went in her own corner and then was crying while Josh was taking care of the baby. And he saw what was going on. So I don't know how he felt, because he's not really good at emotions and explaining how he feels. But I know it was scary. And probably there was a possible chance of me not making it, because how much blood I lost and how much fluid I lost. I don't know how they were going at it for hours. I don't know, it was very scary to think that I just had this baby, our miracle baby, and I can't enjoy her. I just get to see her from a distance as I'm bleeding out, basically. And it's like, I finally got what I wanted, and then I'm in this situation where I think I'm gonna die. So scary, and that is why I've been gone, to try and heal from that whole situation. And I couldn't even hold her for a couple of days because I couldn't bend this arm. I couldn't bend this arm because I had the 2 IVs going. So the nurses had to hold her on my breast so I could breastfeed her. And I couldn't even hold my own baby for a few days, which was not fun, because when they had me do skin to skin with her and I couldn't really do anything, and I called the nurse in to take her because I was falling asleep, she started screaming and crying, and I felt like a horrible mom because I couldn't just hold her and take care of her like I wanted to. So that broke my heart. And they did say when I had my next child that I'm at higher risk of hemorrhaging again, but not that badly, because we're gonna have everything, and we're gonna have this plan on when I do, if I do get induced or if I go into labor on my own, we're gonna have this plan on what's gonna happen with me so that this situation doesn't happen again. So yeah, it has been a long, hard road, but I'm happy I have her, and the delivery went great. It was just the aftermath. She's healthy, she just has the jaundice. So I guess on that note of me trying to feel better and get better so I can vlog and edit and upload for you guys and post on my Instagram and share updates, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.